Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside enjoying these quiet moments in nature because it's healthy. That's right. And I'm a big fan of spending any time I can outside near water. And that can take many different forms. Maybe water near you is a lake. Maybe it's a river. I happen to live on a river, so I've got access to it all day, every day. And different bodies of water will offer different opportunities for nature connection and wildlife. And at this moment, I just happen to be crossing between two bodies of water. All right, so you can see there's just the top end of a lake behind me, and there would normally be this small tributary, but we've had such a dry season that there's hardly any flow in this little bit of a watershed behind me. But I do enjoy spending time with others and sharing these wet areas, or otherwise known as riparian zones, places where the land meets the water. And for me, that's where the biggest interactions, connections with wildlife. There's just some things that I can see here that I might not see when I'm spending time on the lake, right? Different birds, different animals. And in these small transition zones, right, I've got a huge access to amphibians and reptiles, right? So when I'm trying to share and expose the wonder of nature to young people, this is what they connect to first. It's a little less risky in terms of needing qualified waterfront staff to come take part the way I do when I'm on watercraft, right? I need lifeguards. But when I'm out here on a nature hike, due to the risk, right, with campers and guests, we're safe, more safe anyway. And also, there's just something different about getting really close, seeing frogs, right? A chance to see different types of fish and minnows, and a chance to see turtles, salamanders and newts, right? Maybe some snakes around. But we'll also have access to all those things that feed on those, some kingfishers, right? Some herons, and in that body of water behind me, the pond, right? It's a little more quiet, and it's a lot more access to water vegetation, so we'll have access to moose. But along these trails that I'm on now, and as they interconnect in the forest, that's where I'll find my game trails, all right? Typically laid down by, those smaller mammals that are traveling the shoreline, so my mink, maybe otter, as they go from one body of water to the next, used by deer as they navigate the terrain, having access to water. And they use the open spaces that create and generate more airflow and wind to carry scent away from and toward different night spots, different stands of forest. But also near the water, I'm going to have a greater diversity of trees. There's a lot of trees that just absolutely thrive differently because they've got their feet wet, all right? Places typically that are a little more high and dry, we're going to have a different species of different kind of forest, different species of trees. We'll get into typically our hardwoods, right? Maple stands, oaks, beech, ash, black cherry in the forest. Yeah. Some of the larger stands of white pines that might be a little bit further away from the shoreline, but the trees that do like wet feet, that offer shade, wind protection, cover from wind, those are going to be my cedars. They dominate the shoreline of most of our lakes and rivers. But we've also got hemlock stands, right? Different kinds of spruce thrive with wet feet, and tamarack, which is a very unique species, right? A little more of an ancient tree. Does a little bit of both. It's coniferous, but it'll shed its needles. Vibrant yellow in the fall, late fall, usually November for us. So it's as I get toward the water along the shoreline that I really have a different experience, sensory experience. I'll have access to different smells. More importantly, I'm going to have access to phytoncides. So for me, as a certified forest therapy guide, I want to spend time in a mixed forest, but there are certain invitations and certain reasons for spending more time toward water. Just offers a different experience. Again, different smells, different sounds, different access to water-thriving creatures. But the trees themselves, the coniferous trees, the ones that are like wet feet, they release the stronger volatile chemicals, the healing phytoncides, right? Those are the tree's own immune boosting chemicals. Byproduct of photosynthesis is water particles, and they will contain the phytoncides. Right? Phytoncides interact on the wind with our own right, with our own immune system, and after 20 minutes to a couple hours, our own immune system has connected with the tree's phytoncides, and they connect with help promote and enhance the production of NK cells, natural killer cells, which are targeting cells that are carcinogenic. All right, so cancer cells, tumor cells, things that are not wanted in our body. Just being in nature itself after 20 minutes does reduce cortisol levels associated with stress. It does help us manage cortisol production for the rest of our day. 20 minutes, that's all you need for the rest of the day. But you can get 2 to 3 hours, the sort of experience that I offer in a guided forest therapy walk. That exposure to phytoncides, the calmness, lowering blood pressure, regulating heart rhythms, improving sleep, memory, all of these things last the week. So going outside is one thing, being intentional about the green space in the biodiversity, so knowing a little bit about the trees, knowing a little bit about the wildlife and the interconnections in food chains come together and create food webs are so essential to the foundation of all those ecosystems, which are the producers, which is the plant life, right? The more biodiversity, the more interconnected food webs, and we are all part of it. So when I'm looking for the deepest connection in nature, I need the most diversity in my nature exposure. And that can be found near water, in a forest that has the greatest variety of trees, which is a mix of our coniferous and our deciduous trees. More access to a range of smells, more access to phytoncides, different sounds, changes in air movement as I go from a thicker forest into open spaces, which changes with the terrain, which changes with proximity to water. Greater collection of different insects, different birds, different animals. And it's that potential for access to wildlife, nature moments that help ground us, give us scope and scale as visitors in the forest, reminding us, even on a subconscious level, of our place in nature, right? We have got this far on this planet as mammals because of the very strong foundation in our brain development, in our physiology, in our chemistry, in our bioelectricity, as it relates to the natural world. So, increased cortisol production has been linked to our quality of life. The choices we make with technology and industry, and our removal from nature. So, if the effects of cortisol are affecting your success, your well-being, please go outside. Spend time in the forest, spend time near water, spend time with yourself, for yourself, and that becomes a habit that you could and should share with others. They'll be better for it too. All right? So, That's why I do it. It's good for me, and it makes me more capable of being in service to others, right? By appreciating and understanding and being grateful for the choices I make for myself with nature. So, I walk. Good exercise, low impact, easy on the joints. Helps my body, helps my brain, helps my mental state, adds a little bit of spirituality to my life. Hopefully saving the cost of future medical bills. So yeah, maybe financially as well, it's an investment in myself. So please go outside. It's so good for you, it's so good for us. Share what you can, share what you love about being outdoors with others. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you, your time, your support. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.